Alright, 5-9 gamers, welcome back to another Dragon Ball Legends video on the channel. Today, I am joined by xNoctis. How are you doing, man?
Yo, what's up? I'm kind of hyped for this one, yeah. How about you, man? How about you?
Yeah, I mean, before we're saying we're hyped, let's tell the viewers what we're doing. Today, we are going to explain to you the best strategies to succeed in the Tournament of Power mode. And Noctis and I did a video similar to this before where I interviewed him because he came in 11th in one season. And I am also frequently in the top 1000, so we're going to destroy you. We're going to explain you our strategies from A to Z and what you need to know, what you need to consider in the Tournament of Power. So yeah, why don't you get us started, Noctis?
So yeah, the beginning of this season. The stages change every single time. You fight different teams every single time. And the difficulties, aka the fists, are always on different spots, which means you have to choose different routes every single season. Keep that in mind. You cannot progress with your old route and pick the same stuff. It's not optimal. You should always make some routes. One max point route would be really damn good, because every 5th battle should be with the highest difficulty, but try to avoid the 3 fist battles. They give you less, obviously, because they're easier. So try doing that, but also have like some kind of safety route, because it might not work every time that you get the max points, and you might need to switch it up and rather go safe than sorry and die. Which was really damn important in this mode, to not die. Also, you should check out what colors are important, aka when you check out your route, look what you are facing. And now we should head to the team build, which goes even deeper into that aspect.
Exactly. So when you check out your route, the one thing you can see is colors. You can see, okay, there are a lot of blue units, but there are not a lot of purple units. So maybe you want to bring 2 or 3 green units, right? The other thing is, and that was one season where I saw that there are lots of hybrids in the second half. So I decided to bring movies with Gokua because he is the savior against hybrids. And it worked out rather well. I think that was like a top 30 finish for me. But the first thing that you need to remember when you're building your team is read every unit's kits. Because one thing, and that's what Noctis just brought up to me right before this recording, and that's very important, just because a unit is good in PvP doesn't mean he's good in TOP, but also vice versa. Just because a unit is trash in PvP doesn't mean that they're really bad in the Tournament of Power mode. Best example in my book is Bootangs, the blue one. Because he is absolutely garbage in PvP, but in TOP, in my opinion, he's the best unit in the game because he supers in the first turn every time. But yeah, let's go a step back. The first thing you have to look at is the tiers. Because the tier Z units give you a 4% attack bonus or a point bonus per unit that you have on the field, and they change every season. So units that were tier Z in the last season will most likely not be tier Z in the next season. And that depends on how heavily those units were used. Which is, I guess, why Super Saiyan Blue Zenkai 7 Goku is always tier 4. I have no idea why that is the case, but, you know, stuff. So, include as many tier Z units as possible, but not at all costs. One thing that you definitely want to take into account is the healing and utility of your team. So, if you have a team healer, like, let's say, Red Android 18, Fat Boo, or Super Baby 2, for example, and they're tier S, still bring them. Because you still want to prioritize not dying over having to use a team reform or a healing space, and why we will get into that a little bit later when we talk about how the points are calculated. But also, yeah, you just want to make sure that your units have as much HP as possible. Take into account, again, that you want to prefer higher star older units over lower star new units, because higher stars give you more tankiness. They give you better stats, and you also do more damage than like a 2-star LF Vegeta or something like this. He's not going to do that much, and he's going to eat a lot of damage, which is going to cost you a lot of points. if you have the option to choose between multiple teams, choose the team that has at least one healer. I am currently running minions, and I'm only running that because the yellow Cyberman Qcon man is actually healing minions by 4% in the 3rd turn. That is helping me tremendously, because last season I ran minions without that, and it was a struggle. You can increase your utility by using units that buff key restore speed. For example, Yellow Turles buffs the key restore speed of, I believe, all movies units. And the key restore speed is insanely valuable because it means that you get to attack earlier. The unit with the highest key restore speed attacks first. And that is also why you want to increase the friendship rank of all of your units to 10. Because every friendship rank you increase for your units, it gets a 0.5% stat buff. That means at friendship rank 10, you get a 5% buff to all the stats, including key recovery. And at one point, you're going to have a team that fully outspeeds Bootangs, even though, you know, he attacks with a super in the 1st turn, he just dies. And, you know, other units like Red Bojack or a Yellow Goten who super attack in the 2nd turn, you can kill before they can even lay a finger on you, and that's great. Another thing that is helpful is to have cover change units without the 30% restriction, because most units do a cover change only when the HP is below 30%. But for example, Android 16 does a cover change when a unit in range is attacked with a blast card, and you know, it decreases the damage taken by like 60%, something like that. Something else is units that inflict something like can't attack in the 1st turn, like the purple LF Frieza. LF Beerus does it in the 2nd turn. Champa does it in the 2nd turn with the green card. A Red Movie Frieza does it in the 1st turn, because that means you get attacked 1 or 2 or 3 less times, taking less damage and effectively getting more points. Something like Yellow Old Full Power Frieza, for example, he gets a free blue card after being attacked with a blast card. Janemba inflicts can't attack. So it all goes back again to reading the kits and making sure that the units also synergize. And important is also that Zenkai units are already like a really good choice just because they have higher stats. They're super tanky, they take less damage, and they might also Zenkai buff other units in your team. Make sure that you pick the color wheel according to the route. That is what we said earlier. If you see that there is, you know, lots of blues but only a few purples, bring 2 to 3 greens, but maybe don't even bring a red unit. Sometimes I see people be at the top of the leaderboard and they don't even have a unit of, I don't know, yellow or a certain color. And the last thing for team building that is important is equips. I know rare medals are what they're called, rare, right? They're called rare for a reason, but it's better to put any equips on than to not have any at all. The car equip with HP gives you up to 5%, and then any equip that increases your defenses helps you gain more points. Any equip that increases your attack stats helps you kill the opponent faster, effectively getting attacked less, also getting you more points. And since we're talking about points, Noctis, how are they actually calculated?
Alrighty. The points, which I already kinda mentioned in the beginning because of the routes. So, why is it important that every 5th battle is a 5-fist battle, aka the highest difficulty? Because on those battles you get the highest percentage consecutive win bonus, which is on the 5th battle 20%, on the 10th battle 50%, on the 15th 100%, on the 20th 150%, and on the 25th it's 200 whopping percent. That is so tremendous that I'll never suggest you to heal, and also obviously not to die at all. Why would you not heal? Because if you heal, it doesn't count as a fight, obviously, and the streak gets like pushed back 1 battle. AKA what that means, to just clarify, you will never get the 25th win bonus, because your 25th win bonus in that situation when you heal once would be the 26th battle, and that doesn't exist. So always obviously try to beat the higher difficulty battles, but don't force it if you cannot survive, because dying is the worst thing ever that completely resets your win bonus, and you can tell that's terrible. Also, rather risk getting the higher difficulty on every 5th battle instead of doing it in between. Reach the 5th battle and be like, damn, I might die. What do I do? Rather take the safety route until the 5th battle if you are unsure, but make sure that the 5th battle has the 5 fists, so you get the maximum points on those win bonus percentages, which are just the most important thing in this whole mode. Basically, it will change your points drastically if you do that. But yeah, you should always keep in mind, where do you go? There are like battles that are way easier. For example, there's one with Beerus and Shallot, the Kid Gohan, which you should be careful about though, and focus him first. But there are also battles like Pom mentioned earlier that contains the Buhan, which is the scariest unit to face, LF Piccolo, which will TF and also super you. So you always gotta be careful if you can avoid scary battles. For example, there could be 2 4-fist battles like next to each other, and your 5th battle is right on top of those 2. So you can choose where do you go. You should go to the easier battle. If it both 4-fists, you don't lose points doing the easier team build, if that makes sense. You get the same points, probably even more, and you don't lose as many HP. So yeah, every stage you can go to the battle log and check how many points did you get. You see your battle score, you see the details, which is basically just like the bench from the opponent, so kind of whatever. But the score details, that's kind of important. You see victory points that are like pretty much set, you just need to win the battle. You see the battle points, they will differ because I think it depends on how much damage you take and how fast you clear, if I'm not mistaken. There's
it's basically only how much HP you have at the end of the fight.
Or there you go. There you have it.
And that's why it's so important to always try and keep your HP as high as possible.
Hence, doing the easier battle when both are 4-fists. There's also a full KO bonus, which can be really important. So you should also kind of avoid facing really tanky teams where you know you won't be able to kill them, because that's a whopping 50k points. It's a set amount. There's the boost character bonus, like Paul mentioned, with the tiers, and the consecutive win bonus. They're not only on every 5th battle, but every 5th battle has the highest percentage. They still keep going, but with a lesser percent than every 5th battle, but they still rise and rise and rise higher in between the 5th battles. So always keep that in mind. If you do like a 3-5th battle, you'll get way less points the later it is. And other than that, let's talk about the battles, I'd say.
All right, so real quick, I think Noctis pretty much already touched on it, is how do you choose your next battle, right? And that depends on multiple things. The first thing is, how much HP do you have? Do you still want to go the max point route, or do you need to go a safer route? Because in between every 5th battle, you might want to take like a 3-5th battle to actually heal. Sometimes that is actually helpful, just because your HP are low, or maybe this battle has a healing tile. So you can heal a little bit more with the character that you really need because it's supers, or it has a big utility to you. Other than that, you also want to, as he said, avoid battles that, for example, contain Bootanks, or Bootanks and transforming LF Piccolo, or 2 Bojacks, which both super in the second turn. And another classic is Blue Super Saiyan Gohan and Yellow Goten, because the Gohan will basically carry, like, he will taunt you, which means every attack is focused on him in turn 1, and Yellow Goten supers turn 2. So if you don't kill him early and start, working on Yellow Goten, who has very high key restore speed, he's gonna super you in turn 2, which is pretty annoying. Other than that, if you're pretty confident that your team is at a high HP and it can survive, you can always choose the higher 5th battles. And sometimes you also want to make it dependent on the color wheel of the opponent. So if as Noctis says, you have 2 4-fifth battles that you can choose from, choose the one which better suits the colors of your team and is the easier one in general. And with that said, let's have a look at what you actually do in battle.
Alrighty, coming to the battles. Choosing your team. Obviously, you choose your team based on their opponent's team. Okay, if there are like 3 yellows, you should probably avoid picking the purple. Yeah, if you face 2 Bojacks, that's like one of the scariest fights. You need high key restore speed, like straight up high key recovery, so you get the attack first before them. Because like Pom already said, they will super turn 2. And if you're attacking late, or rather later than the 2 Bojacks, they are pretty sure at least one will super you. So always have a look at your key recovery and see who has the highest. Because pretty much they will attack first. If there's a key recovery tile, that will take advantage and you will attack first with that character, like pretty much. Other than that, who has a special move lined up? You should always be careful and don't be like, oh, purple Bojack, old unit, I'll attack him last. No, 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 no. Both Bojacks, the purple and the red one, will super you turn 2, so don't think they're like lightweight only because they're pretty trash and pretty old in PvP, for the purple one obviously in that case. And another really good example, the kid Gohan, attack him first. If you see that Beerus, Shallot, Whis, Green Piccolo, and the freaking Bulma, I think, attack the Gohan first. If someone dies, he gets a full yellow gauge and boom, he will super you. Also, keep in mind your own special move gauge, aka the yellow bar below the green HP bar, because that will tell you when when each character will have their super ready. What that means is, after each turn, you get a roughly, like, what is it, like 10%, like 5 to 8% increased special move rate for the gauge. And there's also tiles that charge them up. So if you know, or you can like plan forward, let's say that you can plan forward that you're facing, for example, 3 yellows and your red unit is at like 50% special move gauge. You can put that red unit on the charging tile for the special move gauge and charge him up for the next battle. Or you can even bench people that have like a 95% or even 100%, because you know you won't need that super on the next fight. So you can make profit of having that super, for example, on every 5th battle if you know someone will super. You can basically, I wouldn't say abuse it, but it's kinda doing that because you just bench the unit and bring him back when you need a super.
Let's call it strategizing.
Yeah, let's call it strategizing. I mean, it's not abusive, it's in the game, right? It's meant to be like that. So always keep that in mind, because there's like kind of stages where you waste them. There's like 4 of your characters supering and you super a character that has like 100k HP. That's obviously a huge waste, and it could be game deciding on the next battle. Which order should you pick? If you just head in, don't choose an order, it's not randomized, it will go from left to right. You should never do that. It's never optimal to just click and move in. Never ever do that. There's always an optimal character or even optimal characters to choose first. For example, the kid Gohan. Other example, I also like to prioritize Beerus, because on turn 2 he will basically negate your attack of one random character on your team. So that character has like a seizure and doesn't attack, which is obviously terrible because you lose damage. And what also is a good strategy is to target super tanky characters last. You would question like why? Just get rid of them, right? But no, there's like different aspects. It's not even like one optimal thing. There's like different things contained into that, because there are like mechanics like Android 16 who will self-destruct at a certain HP, and obviously if you do it earlier, like there are many characters that gets like buffs on turn 3 for more damage, so the threshold could be even easier to reach for him to self-destruct, and obviously you don't want that. Also, on the end of the battle, pretty much, when your character did the last attack, you will get a guaranteed Rising Rush. What that means is if there's like only one character left with like 90 HP, you'll Rising Rush him. Coming back to that, will Android 16 self-destruct? No, you'll just take the Rising Rush and die, so you don't have to worry about that at all. And also, why it's good is, you kill the less tanky units first, so they cannot damage you after the next turn. And while you do it, when you target tanky units, the others will straight up attack you, and he will just sponge your damage, and you'll take so much more damage, you'll need to heal, and everything goes awful pretty quickly.
That sounds bad.
Oh yeah. There are also like
Yeah.
some pretty BS characters like LF Frieza where you can't do anything about. The battle starts and they like paralyze you.
Yeah.
So don't feel bad. There's literally nothing you can do about certain characters like that. But also there are characters where you need to choose a different arts card, aka Gogeta Blue. You should try to avoid the strike cards because he will just use his green card. Your attack goes to waste and he will buff himself. Another good example, Red Janemba. If you blast art him, he will just do his green card and another attack goes to waste.
Plus, you don't get to attack in the next turn with that character as well.
And that's even more terrible.
Yeah.
Also, yellow full power Frieza, the old Frieza, is really damn scary, even if you don't think so. But if you look at his kit, you'll see that when you blast card him, he will literally get a super and uses that on his next attack. So always keep in mind those characters where you actually should switch up your arts cards, or if someone only gets like blast damage and you face Red Janemba or full power Frieza, try to bench them. If there's like no other choice, try to bench them, or even move their blast cards to an arts card, strike arts card, because it's just so much safer and you should not get supered at all.
And yeah, if you want to change the arts card, you just click on the character in the switch out screen, and then at the bottom you will see a little fist with a red background, or you'll see a little key blast with a yellow icon background. You just click on that, and then you can change it.
Yeah, you can change it each time. You don't set it for anything. You can change it, swap it around each battle. It's not set in stone like your equipments, for example, before you start the season, or your team, which is also pretty important, that you should pick a team, like we said in the beginning, that really fits and that's really good, like looking wise, star wise in your box, because you won't be able to change it mid season unless you go to a yellow space, which is the worst space in the entire mode, because not only you will lose that winning streak, you will also even out your HP with your special move gauge, and what that means is you'll be at like a 50% HP, 50% special move, and you can tell it's terrible if your whole team is at 50% and you need to heal afterwards. Basically, you need to go to a green tile and heal. So never ever go in with a bad team or a team where you're like, nah, it's not really safe. Always pick a safe team so you can win your battles.
Yeah, just like Noctis, who goes into the battle with the same team every season, and he still stays in Z League.
Yeah, since season 2, I went in with the same team because I did a mistake on season 1 when the mode was new. So I'm just being an old rabbit choosing the same team every season because I know it works and I get my at least top 1k. Last season I was like, I don't know, 200 something because of the tiers. I basically cannot get always high because they, like a pump set, they switch around. But I know my team is safe. I know I won't be able to completely wipe out, and that's the most safe route in my book. Like, be safe and not sorry. Don't chase the highest points possible with tier 1 units, like we already said, basically. Be safe. That's the most important thing in this mode. Be safe.
Be safe. Those are great final words. Be safe. I mean, obviously, if you do want to chase the highest points and you have the stars, that's the one thing. If you don't have the stars, you're not going to be able to do that. So if you have the stars, by all means, go for it. Experiment with different teams, because then most of the teams that have a healer, you should be able to go through without healing. And that's that. Just to summarize, first of all, read the kits. Read all of them. Read the kits of the units that you want to use, of your main teams, because sometimes you will find a hidden gem like Bootangs or like Red Janemba, who is, you know, not used in PvP, but they're pretty good in TOP. And then also read your opponent's kits when you're in the battle to not get any surprises. Like I got supered by Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku because I didn't know that he actually specialed you in turn 2, I think. And that screwed my points up. So make sure you do that. Pick the teams that have healers. Choose your next battles wisely. And try to keep your HP as high as possible. I think those are the main points that we wanted to give you here in a very, very small nutshell. Anything I missed, Noctis?
Basically like a small hint. If you're facing a formation and see it later again, and they have like a cover changer, like, I don't know, VB, the future Red Goku, what else is there? The Super Saiyan 3 Goku. There's like a bunch of them. If you face that formation on a later battle again, they will be on the same grid, if that makes sense. Like cover changing wise. Because you never know in the beginning, will he cover him if he's at 30%? If he is he next to him so he can cover him? Like stuff like that. And if you realize he isn't and you just can't kill, or I think Android 21, the green one, is in this season again. She has like that effect basically. She will cover rescue someone that's next to her on a specific tile.
Yeah, it's in front and behind her. Yep.
If you realize she doesn't do that on the unit you target first, and you face that formation later again, you can obviously do it again because the formation will stay the same. You don't have to worry about, will she cover him now? If the battles, if the units are the same, no, it's the same formation. You can do it just again. No need to worry.
And it has to be in the same order. So from left to right, top to bottom in the 6, then the grid will be the same. All right, so I would say that wraps up our Tournament of Power guide. We hope that this helped you. Let us know in the comments if we missed anything. What are your strategies? What are your favorite teams for the Tournament of Power that gets you through to Z-League and stay there safely? And with that said, we hope, you have a good one. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and follow us on Twitch, Twitter, and all the other social media like TikTok as well. This has been xNoctis and Pommy, aka Pomzor. Have a good rest of your day, and we'll see y'all in the next ones. Bye.
Bye.